We're going to be talking about square roots and radicals. This is a quick review from Algebra 2, just to remind you what a square root and a radical are and how to simplify them and use them, because we will be using them in the coming sections, not units. All right, so a radical is an expression having a root, and you got that little root symbol. So this number here, this little 3, so this is a cubed root, and that's what it means, but the little 3 is called an index. The symbol is called a radical symbol, and the number or the expression underneath the radical is called the radicand. So a radical expression is an expression containing a radical sign, and the expression can be variables, constants, and related by mathematical expressions. So there are some examples there. We're going to use some properties of radicals. You got the nth root property, the product property, and the quotient property. So the nth root property means if I have a number to the same power that the index is, then it's just that number. The product property means I can separate two things being multiplied to determine how to simplify it. Same with the quotient property. Instead of one big radical, I can put the radical on top and on the bottom of the denominator. So for problem 1a, we are going to simplify this. So instead of taking the fourth root of 16x to the fourth, we are going to take the fourth root of 16 and multiply it by the fourth root of x to the fourth. Well, the fourth root of 16 is 2. And from our nth root property, we have 4. The fourth root of x to the fourth just gives me x. So that is 2x is my solution there. Using my nth root property for b, I have the cubed root of z cubed. That just gives me z. And for c, I can use my quotient property and take the fifth root of x to the fifth divided by the fifth root of y to the fifth. So now using the nth root property, the fifth root of x to the fifth is just x, and the fifth root of y to the fifth is just y. So I have x over y. So a square root is a radical having the index of 2. Typically there's a little 2 here, but we typically don't write the 2 just because it's just easier not to. So those are some examples, because most people, the 2 is implied. If there's another number, then it's not implied. So you could take and cross out all these little 2's if you would like. If they bother you. If they don't, then leave them. So I can separate this and take the square root of 64 times x squared. Well, the square root of 64 is 8. And the square root of x squared is just x. So 8x is my solution. And then here, I have z to the fourth. So I could write out 4 z's if you wanted, and take out 2 groups of 2. And since I can take out 2 groups of 2, I am left with z squared as my solution. And then I have x to the 6th, the square root of x to the 6th over the square root of y to the 6th. If you wanted, you could write out 6x's, or you could just divide the exponent by 2. So then I'd have 3x's on top and 3y's on the bottom.